Want to learn how to get into real estate, fix and flip, wholesaling with money and without money? Tune in to this episode. Welcome to the Newbie Real Estate Investors Podcast. Today, we're going to go over how to do a wholesale deal. How do you get into wholesale? Let's say you had no money and you wanted to get into wholesaling. How would I go about doing that?
The first thing you guys got to do is find a motivated seller. There's a whole bunch of ways to do this for free. Go on Zillow. Zillow has all this information there for you. You got people who are in the process of foreclosure, whose house are about to go to sheriff's sale, whose house are about to go to auction, and you could literally skip trace them on True People Search. We did a whole episode about this. Refer back to that one. You can also go on PropWire. It's totally free to use. Skip tracing isn't free there though. You can pull expired listings, absentee owners, probates, tired landlords. You can also drive for dollars, literally. Drive around your neighborhood, find the shittiest looking houses. Anything that's totally run down, knock on their door, skip trace them later, give them a call, leave them a note. That's the way to get a hold of the seller. You can also find people who are going through divorces, high equity lists. There's a whole bunch of ways to do this for free. None of this costs money. Propwire.com. 100% free. Nice. You're going to start calling all of these guys. All of these guys have a point of motivation, right? So foreclosure, go on auction, expired listings. They already listed with a realtor. They already know they're trying to sell. Absentee, especially bonus points if they're out of state because now they're not here. They probably don't want to deal with it. Probate, someone died. Tired landlords, just been owning it for too long. And driving for dollars, obviously, you already know. Something's wrong with it. Like tall grass, all this stuff. Gonna start calling all them up. Then you're gonna get a seller who's gonna wanna talk to you. They're gonna wanna sell. And this one, you're gonna do that classic wholesale formula because now you gotta give them an offer. How do you come up with your offer? You're gonna start doing comps. You don't need any MLS. You don't need anything crazy. Literally, we're gonna go on Zillow. Again, 100% free. You're gonna look for sold. You wanna do your comps depending on your market. If you're in a very high activity market, you're gonna wanna do last 6 months. If you're in a more rural market, you might have to extend this for 12, but realistically, you should be doing this for 6. Within half a mile, again, if you're in a more remote market, you might have to extend this. Joe and I have had this conversation even yesterday. And then you're going to start looking for similar houses. Let's say you got a 3-bed, 2-bath house, 1,500 square feet. You don't want to go below 1,250 square feet, and you don't want to go above 1,750. You're going to put in 3-bed, 2-bath houses, and you're going to find everything that's sold. You want to look for a house that looks as close to your house as humanly possible. That's how you're finding that after repair value. But make sure you're comparing apples to apples, not apples to oranges, so check the condition of the houses that sold. Then you're going to do a 30% discount, so times that by 0.7. You're going to also have to account for repairs. I believe the classic ones are like $10 to $15 a square foot is what they typically teach for most markets. For light repairs, so like paint, basic cleanup. Medium repairs, I was taught like 20 to 25, and then 30 to 35 for heavy. Medium is like new kitchen, new bath, and then heavy is like hot water heaters and these things that might be going wrong. Next, you got to figure out how much you're trying to make. If you're trying to make $10,000, that's what you're going to do. Let's say your ARV is $300,000 minus that 30% discount, you're at $210. Let's say your house needs $30,000 of repairs. Now you're at $180 and you want to make $10,000. The maximum you could offer the seller is $170. Well, you're going to have to negotiate a little bit here. Don't start with that offer, but we could do another episode on how to negotiate with sellers. You're going to put them under contract. So you're going to make a purchase and sale agreement. Basically, it's saying seller Joey Chan is selling me his house at $170. I'm buying it. But make sure it says and or assigns, or that this contract is assignable somewhere in there. Because if that does not have it, you can't assign the contract. And what we're doing is assigning it. You're going to send it over to the title company next. If you are in an attorney state, New York, Georgia are attorney states, you're going to send it over to an attorney who does real estate. Check that with your state. Once it's over in title, you're going to send them your earnest money. This is like a part where you do need a little bit of money, but realistically, earnest money is just consideration, so it could really be $1. You might have a hard time convincing a seller that your earnest money is $1, but most of them don't really look at it, so put like $100 in there, you'll be fine.
Yeah, couldn't you get a gator to fund it?
We could also get a gator. We did an episode with Daniel Wang, who is actually the gator guy for the Northeast, but he'll gator lend for anywhere. So let's say you have a slam dunk deal and you need $10,000 earnest money. Check out the episode with Daniel Wang. You'll get your deal funded, I promise you. Once it's in title, send that earnest money. You got to find a buyer. If you got a good deal, you got yourself a buyer pretty much instantly. This is why you definitely do want to do this in a market that has more activity, because let's say it's a population of 1,000 people for surrounding area of 30 miles, you're going to have a very hard time finding someone to buy that. You're going to have a very easy time finding a seller. You're going to have a very hard time finding a buyer because they can't really do anything with it. You do definitely want to be in a higher population area, but you probably also don't want to be the most competitive. I don't know. Some people say competition's great. It really just depends, but don't make it too remote. You're going to find your buyer. You're going to offer them the contract at, you want it to make 10 grand, so 180. So now let's say I'm buying the house from Joey. I'm going to sell it to Joe at 180, and I'm going to send him my assignment of contract. So I have the A to B contract with Joey, and now I'm going to send Joe the B to C. He's going to sign it. He's going to wire his EMD over to the title company or attorney, depends on your state. So let's say my earnest money with Joey is 1 grand. I usually put this in my contracts. And then I'm going to sell it to Joe. You definitely want them to at least cover your earnest money. So at least like 2 grand, whatever you make the difference is that earnest money. Essentially, if he backs out for no reason, you get to keep that. So you still make something. But it just makes sure that he's a serious buyer. I'm going to send it to Joe at 180 with a $2,000 earnest money, and he's going to wire that over to the title company. When you're setting up your purchase and sale agreements, though, please be mindful of the inspection period. A lot of the wholesale contracts have the entirety of it being the due diligence period, when you could back out for any reason. You can also actually reach out to realtors as well. I did forget to mention it's a totally free way to do this on Zillow. Just make them lowball offers. A lot of those on-market transactions, your due diligence is only 10 days when you can back out for any reason. So if you do that, just please be mindful of that and make sure it's in writing, because if it's not in writing, you're going to have to forego your earnest money deposit. Then all that stuff gets sent over to title, and assuming that everything else goes well, you get to close on your property and you get a check or a wire into your account. You don't need an LLC, you don't need a company, you don't need a team. Team makes it a little bit easier, but it's 100% free. And you just made 10 grand by doing some calls.